first up on today's show, the latest NFL rumors. First up, about Le'Veon Bell and the Colts. He commented, just imagine, on a pic of Andrew Luck's stats, with the implication being, just imagine if I were on the Colts too. This is not the first time that Bell has hinted about joining Indianapolis. He's commented on other Instagram photos of T.Y. Hilton and of Andrew Luck. And the Colts do make sense. They have the money, but I love the way Marlon Mack has played. Nyheim Hines is a solid player in terms of another rotation back. Same with Jordan Wilkins. Frankly, I don't know if the Colts necessarily need to go throw big money at Le'Veon Bell with a solid, cheap platoon already in place. So let me know in the comment section, where do you think Le'Veon Bell will sign? Will it be the Colts or a team that I think makes maybe even a little bit more sense? How about the New York Jets? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. All right, next up, it is the latest on Reuben Foster. The Redskins were the only team to claim Foster on waivers. The Eagles called the Tampa Police Department about the arrest. The Redskins did not. The NFL has placed Foster on the commissioner's exempt list, i.e. kind of punting on the current situation, given that he was just arrested for a second domestic violence accusation down in Tampa. So for the time being, Foster cannot practice. He does not count against the Redskins' 53-man roster, but he can collect a base salary and he can attend meetings and or rehab sessions. So here's where we sit right now with the Redskins. They've also have, drawing a blank on the other inside linebacker, they've got Zach Brown and Mason Foster on the inside there, plus another outside backer in Ryan Kerrigan. I'm a little surprised they wanted Foster, but they clearly wanted to add some more inside linebacker help. So grade the signing of Reuben Foster, A, B, C, D, or F. Look, I don't like it. I don't think it makes much sense for an NFL team to say, yeah, let's add Reuben Foster after another domestic violence incident. At worst, he's a beater. At best, he's just making really bad decisions. Either way, I don't think that's a guy you can trust on your NFL team. And it clearly shows, by the way, what NFL teams really care about. It's all about talent. You can do whatever you want off the field to a reasonable degree, and a team will still pick you up. All right, injury time now. A.J. Green, he says he's going to give it a go against the Denver Broncos. He hasn't practiced much. He's been very much banged up, battling a toe and a foot injury. Now, we'll see if he actually ends up going. He says he's going to play, but we'll see if he ends up being fully healthy and the true A.J. Green everyone knows and loves. And the Bengals, frankly, they need A.J. Green right now, because your new starting quarterback is Jeff Driscoll, who's a good athlete, still needs quite a bit of work in the actual throwing department. So Green is your number one. Look, the good news for the Bengals, it means less Cody Core, who has been a big, big problem for this offense with A.J. Green out. Core has not fared well whatsoever. All right, folks, today's show is brought to you by BetDSI, the internet's #1 sportsbook. Head over to chatsports.com/bet and use promo code LIVE120 for a 120% deposit bonus. Put down $50, they're going to give you $60. Put down $100, they'll give you $120. Put down $500, they'll give you an extra $600 to bet with on BetDSI, but only if you use promo code LIVE120. All right, more injury notes here. Mitchell Trubisky might also be out again this week, and Matt Nagy says he doesn't know if Trubisky is going to be able to play. He also cited the injuries to Khalil Mack and Allen Robinson a couple weeks ago. They played it safe with Mack and with Robinson, and they gave them 2 weeks, maybe more than they really needed in the stretch, because they thought they could win without those guys. The Bears this week get the 3-8 Giants. Maybe they'll turn again to Chase Daniel, who was very solid in the absence of Trubisky against the Detroit Lions. A lot of passes, mostly short ones, but he avoided the interceptions, threw 2 touchdown passes. I would not be surprised at all if you see Chase Daniel get the nod once again at quarterback for the Bears. Speaking of quarterbacks here, is Lamar Jackson going to start again? The Ravens, that's the report from NFL.com, is that they plan on starting Jackson for the 3rd straight week against the Atlanta Falcons on Sunday. Joe Flacco, dealing with a hip injury, has not yet been cleared, and frankly, Jackson's been pretty good. Now, he still needs some work, frankly, as a true passer, but he brings you so much dynamic ability on the ground with his legs. It's added to a ground game that all of a sudden has gone from rather mediocre to, with Lamar Jackson and Gus Edwards, actually being pretty darn competent. So who should be the starting Ravens quarterback? Let us know in the comments section. Type F for Flacco and type J for Jackson. Look, Flacco is not the Super Bowl MVP that he once was. Franco's kind of more of a flash in the pan anyway. Lamar Jackson is the future of the Baltimore Ravens. As long as they continue to win, he might as well be the present too. So I say you start Lamar Jackson. The offense has worked fairly well with him at the helm. Yeah, he still needs some work as a passer, but I think he is a better option right now than an injured Joe Flacco. A team that has just completely fallen apart is the Jacksonville Jaguars, and it's only getting worse. Leonard Fournette has lost his appeal of a one-game suspension for fighting Shaq Lawson in the Bills-Jags game. It's not a good look for Fournette. He's already missed a bunch of time this year and some last year with an injury. Now he's suspended for a game. The Jaguars are tail-spinning out of control. Ever since they beat the Patriots, which I think in reality for Jacksonville kind of was their Super Bowl, they peaked way too early in the year. They've fallen apart. They fired their OC. They've benched Blake Bortles at long last, although frankly, probably not all Blake Bortles' fault, but he's not very good. It's really not all the OC's fault anyway. Doug Marrone might have already lost this team, and it's already in the middle of year 2 for him. We'll talk more about that later on in our coaching or our hot seat segment. But Leonard Fournette, his suspension, it's just another example of a long line of things that have not gone well this year for Jacksonville, who many thought could be a Super Bowl threat with a great defense. Not the case this year. Now, speaking of defense, David Irving, well, he is away from the Dallas Cowboys dealing with a personal issue. Remember, he has the high ankle sprain right now, but that's not why he's not with the Cowboys. Instead, he has personal issues. It's a classic David Irving situation right now. Very talented player when he's on the field. The issue is it's always an injury of some type, or there's always something else going on off the field for David Irving. Great player, but you can't trust him to actually be on the field. I think in reality, the Cowboys are about done with David Irving. I'll be very surprised if he's back on the Cowboys next season. Heck, frankly, he might have already played his last snap in Dallas. Now, if you guys like this shirt that I'm wearing, go get your own at Mizzen and Main. Comfortable.af is the website, and trust me, folks, you are not going to find a more comfortable dress shirt than a Mizzen and Main shirt. It's the best damn dress shirt out there. All right, 2 more rumors I want to get to. First up, C.J. Anderson, last with the Carolina Panthers, has worked out with the Detroit Lions, which I think might be a bad sign about Kerryon Johnson's current status. Now, Anderson went to Carolina, and then Christian McCaffrey got the vast majority of the snaps. I'm talking over 90% of them this year, 95% of them. Johnson's banged up. You have LeGarrette Blount. You have Theo Riddick as your third down back, and you have Zach Zenner. Working out Anderson might have been more of the, let's just see how he's doing, and in case Johnson misses more time or re-aggravates it or something, we have a backup plan in mind. I don't think he's going to sign right now. He might not at all, but I think he's on the Lions' short list of potential backups, last or worst case scenarios, just in case something goes down. All right, next up, it is the Oakland Raiders and Donald Penn. Could he be returning? He's been on IR since October 3rd. That means on Wednesday, it's been the 8 weeks. He's eligible to come off very shortly. Now, there are some pluses and minuses here for Penn and the Raiders. In terms of the plus side, Penn's better than what the Oakland Raiders have right now at right tackle. We can bring up that depth chart here in a second. But Brandon Parker has been very up and down. That's a nice way of putting it. He's raw. He's a right tackle. He hasn't played all that well. Now, Penn comes back. They probably cut one of the other offensive linemen. And it helps you in the meantime right now. We've seen Derek Carr get sacked a bunch, pressured a bunch. That's in part because Brandon Parker, frankly, just hasn't played all that well as a raw rookie. Now, the downside is that if you bring back Donald Penn and he gets hurt again, the Raiders are going to be on hook for his entire salary next year. At least that's a report from NBC Sports. And then on top of that, if Donald Penn comes back, that spells the end of the Marshawn Lynch era, at least for the time being in Oakland, because he's going to be a free agent. It might be over for Lynch in Oakland. He is also on IR. The Raiders have already brought back Justin Ellis. You only get 2 guys to pull back off of IR. If you bring back Penn too, that means you don't get to bring back Marshawn Lynch, and that means you might have seen the last of Marshawn Lynch in an Oakland Raiders uniform.